Hello, welcome back to allforunitedwfc. Another win, I was going to say another clean sheet. It wasn't, was it? That was a bit annoying. We're going to get into that as well. But another win, second in the table, 5 ahead of 4th place. We head into the international break. Obviously, we tweeted this the other day as well. We're a lot better off than we were this time last season, which, to be fair, it's not incredibly hard to do. But we are. We're much better off than we were this time last season as well. But yeah, we're going to get into all of that. As you see, the usual Monday duo of Barry and Charlie are with me to go through it all. 3 goals to talk about and a couple of talking points as well, obviously, with the lineup as well. So we'll start there. Feel free to get your thoughts and your comments in the chat. We'll go through as many as we can as we get through this over the next hour or so. Right, Charlie, just very quickly come to you first then. The lineup comes out. Bit of surprise, I think, when the lineup came out. I think most expected it to be an unchanged side for the 4th WSL game in a row. It wasn't. There was one change. Grace Clinton came in for Celine Bizet, who was on the bench. What did you make of that? Obviously, like I said, we're going to talk about Clinton as a separate thing in a second when we talk about her in the game. But when you initially saw that team, were you surprised at that one?
I was worried not about her playing, but I was concerned that the midfield 3 that had been working incredibly well, to great success of Janssen, Miyazawa and Toon. I thought maybe Miyazawa might be going out on the wing as a result of Clinton coming in. Oh, there's my dogs. So I was pleased that they're going to keep barking now. Apologies for a bit. They've probably seen a cat or a muntjac because we live in a forest. And they're choosing to do it right outside the door, not at the front door where they normally are. I was worried that Miyazawa was going to get shunted out onto the left, so I was pleased that she didn't. I don't think it worked brilliantly, in my opinion, having Clinton out on the wing. But obviously it wasn't a total disaster, was it? Because it was a half decent performance most of the game. Good win. But yeah, a little bit surprised. I just think Bizet has been so good for us, and she was player of the match against Spurs. I was just surprised that she wasn't played. But then again, players need to get some minutes somewhere, don't they? Because we're not going to have lots, if any, midweek games now until the end of the season. So yeah, surprised that Bizet wasn't playing, but not worried about it being Clinton majorly, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. Barry, before I come to you, ask you the same kind of question. Kevin raised a good point. Yes, it is worth mentioning as well. Lucy Neal did get a goal over the weekend as well. She's played 2 full games for Blackburn so far on a loan. Player of the match, and she scored 1 as well. So she's smashing it over at Blackburn at the moment on loan, which is great to see for her future at United when she comes back as well. Barry, then, in terms of the lineup, as we said, I don't know. I was a little bit surprised. I can't lie, because I just assumed we've kept it 3 consecutive unchanged 11s. I thought we're right before the international break. Makes sense to keep it 4 because, like I said, it's 1 game before the break. Albeit, it was only 1 change. Were you a little bit surprised by that?
I was a bit surprised. Obviously, when you look at the side that was put out and you see the names that are on there, you do wonder who's getting shifted where. Unlike Charlie, I was less concerned that it might be Hinnie. I thought it might be Ella, because she does love a cameo on the left or the right, depending on where Mark decides to put her. I think it was a tricky one because we don't know how Jay's was. She didn't come on, so she might be having a bad day. Something might have not quite been right there. I think I'm willing to give the benefit of the doubt, because there are a lot of questions still with regards to that right-hand side in terms of availability and all of that sort of thing. So it's one of those, really, isn't it? We can't have Celine play every single game. We do need to give her a little bit of a rest, and a game against bottom of the table Crystal Palace does feel like the right game in which to try an experiment like this. Is it somewhere where Grace could play and do well? I'm with the others. I don't know that she necessarily shone, but she didn't do terribly. She's not a right winger. I think that's the general gist of it. You can do reasonably well in a position, but she didn't quite have everything that I think I would have liked to have seen. She's just not Celine Bizet. She's equally not Jay's. So we are putting her up against quite a high bar in that respect. So, yeah. And Sporty's right. Bizet didn't play last week, but again, there's nothing wrong with giving people a bit of a rest when they need it. She's got the international break. She might be carrying a knock. We don't know quite what it is. Mark Skinner's not been hugely open, I don't think, into the reasons why he chose to do it. Equally, he did come out in his press conference and say that he wanted to, if Grace did the work and she was putting the effort in, then she'd be rewarded. So there could be an element of that as well, in terms of, has she been a bit better in training, perhaps? Has he seen something more from her that you wanted to reward? And again, a game against bottom of the table, Crystal Palace, does feel like it's not a free hit, because that would be disrespectful to Palace, but it's certainly the place where you would want him to do it. So was I delighted? No, I was not. She certainly looked a bit happier when she moved back into the central role once Hinnie came off, and that's when she went on to go and get a goal as well. But I honestly, I can't say I was particularly fussed, if I'm honest with you.
She didn't. Yeah, it wasn't a bad performance, was it? From her, was it? Like, I agree with you there. I think just if someone's not a natural winger, what they're going to do is what she did, which I watching the game, they semi-prepared for, so she cut inside quite a lot, didn't she? Whereas the difference between having her play there and having a natural winger that would use the width of the pitch, but then a lot of times when we were then trying to break forward, Miyazawa was coming quite far out onto the right to pick up the ball from Jade. So it's obviously something they'd anticipated was going to happen, and that Grace was going to come inside a little bit more. But yeah, if you were looking for an out-and-out winger, that she wasn't the one to do that, was she? But people are right. She worked really hard and she had a good game. She was bullish, wasn't she, in possession? And she got a goal. So all in all,
she was definitely better when she moved into the middle, because obviously that's her position. I don't think she was good out wide. I tweeted at half time that's why you don't upset a balance of a team, because I did feel like it just unbalanced us, if I'm being honest, because Grace's natural instinct is to cut inside. She did that and left Jade with 40, 50 yards to cover on her own. And I think that's a big problem when you're starting to do that, because I don't blame Grace for that. Her natural, like I said, her thing is to go inside. So, I understand that. I'm not massively for it. I don't want this to be a regular thing, because like I said, I worried we saw this at the start of the season. We're putting Toon out wide and so on. I don't want him to look at that and go, well, we won, so Grace can play them more regular. Let's not go down that road. It's all very well and good getting her minutes, getting her a start. As Barry said, bottom of the table, you can kind of just about get away with it. Obviously, we did just about in the end get over the line, but I don't want this to be a regular thing, that's for sure. And to be fair, she starts putting up performances again and scoring. You make a case for going back into the midfield. So, in terms of that midfield three. So, yeah, I'm not sat here going, oh yeah, what an awful decision that was. I just don't want to see it again. And I think there's definitely an argument. I want to come back to Ella. I know you've commented a couple of times about Mallard, because that did surprise me, to be honest. The fact that she didn't come on at all was a bit of a strange one. Right, let's talk about the first goal, because it came pretty early. Again, we've done this a couple of times this season, and it's usually a similar kind of goal that we get it from. Again, it kind of comes from us winning the ball off you could say a forced error, an unforced error, whatever you want to call it. But Charlie, if you want to talk us through the first goal, it's kind of an inception from Grace and Terland again, who's getting quite, I guess, numbers wise, it's starting to add up a little bit now. Yeah,
she's been working hard all season, picking up assists here and there, so it's nice to see her getting the goals that she deserves. But it was a dreadful kick from their keeper. I think I don't know what she was doing, because it wasn't even under pressure one, wasn't it? It wasn't just a goal kick. Like, I don't know what happened. But yeah, we sort of, Grace did what I think United have been doing well this season, which is nicking the ball quickly. And what I love about Terland is, because she's an out-and-out striker, isn't it? Is she was ready to receive the ball, brilliant turn, and slotted it. And it was the start to the game that we were after, wasn't it? Where we've been wasteful this season for large parts of lots of games. Probably could argue we were fairly wasteful yesterday, and it should have been a little bit more comfortable. But yeah, it was a great way to start the game. It was a really well taken goal. She had a defender right pushed up behind her, and just beat her on the turn. Yeah, it was great from her. It's really nice to see her really kicking on in the second half of the season, when we're really going to need her, particularly going into that final few games, where it's important that our number 9 or number 19 is firing on all cylinders, really.
I definitely want to come back to the chance creation and stuff like that again, because I think, I want to come back to that, because I do think we missed, again, a lot of big chances that we probably really should be putting away, if I'm being totally honest. And Erling kind of references that point that, Terland could have quite easily have had a hat-trick in that first half, the one off the post and, that one right before half-time as well, where potentially could she be stronger there? I don't know. But we'll come back to that because I want to talk about that as a whole separate point. But Barry, in terms of the first goal itself, anything you want to add on what Charlie said there?
Oh, Connor.
I don't know what you're looking at me laugh for.
I'm not actually looking at you, believe it or not. I was looking at the computer. It just looks like I'm looking at you because, listen, the goal itself, the finish from Terland is brilliant. The ball from Hinney is great. Even the fact we've picked up the ball, but it's one of the worst goal kicks you're going to watch in your life. Like, it's atrocious. She's gone home that night. And if she's anything like Dobby, she's smashed herself around the house. She's been headbutting wardrobes, hitting herself with a frying pan. Because as a goalkeeper, you hit the ball. It's not even close, Connor. Like, it's on the right angle. It's going towards a Crystal Palace player. But, I mean, she'd have needed to run up and kick it again in order for it to actually get to the player she wanted it to get to. It's so short. It's just a miss kick. It happens to everybody. I've missed kick balls 101 times. It's atrocious. So we can talk about winning the ball high, and we do need to have the players in place to do that. Grace does well to win it. She absolutely does. She's got to be there. If she's not in the right position, she doesn't get it. But I think this is what we've been saying all season. It's about they've learnt the positions to be in order to win it. You called it a forced error. That's the most unforced error you're going to ever have. Like, it's just, there's no force. It's a goal kick. There's no pressure. She's just got to kick the ball. She kicks it straight, doesn't go to Grace. It's got a nice, honestly, it was like me when I play golf. Took a swing and you think it's going to go straight down the centre, beautiful, hooks left in a tree, and you can't find the ball again. And she couldn't find the ball again because before she knew it, it was back behind her and she didn't know where it had gone. So, listen, it wasn't great. And I think this is my issue now when it comes to how we're playing. I said it before a few weeks ago when we played City. We're not doing enough in terms of creating. So if we can't break a side down, how are we going to progress? We can't always rely on the other side making a mistake that we definitely capitalise on. And we haven't always. And I think that is just a dangerous road to go down. So I'm cautious at the moment. I'm a bit worried. Delighted that Terland got the goal. It's a brilliant goal in that respect. And I'm always going to be happy when we score. But again, we don't just come on here just for, inane ramblings and such like. It's quite important that we try and put a bit of analysis on it as well. And, yeah.
I think that's fair. I think it's, again, like I said, when you look at quite a few of our goals, and like I said, I'll come on to this next in terms of, I think, the chances that we potentially wasted. We wasted a little bit. But before I get onto that, I want to quickly address something in the chat, because Jay just put a bit, obviously, Queen Liz got completely wiped out, and I think Bree just put this about potential 2 penalties as well. Am I going to be the unpopular United fan and say I don't think either are penalties? And especially on the one where Terland gets taken out, because you're going to see Erling's hat in this photo that I've got here. So I was actually recording at the time. To me, the keeper has got the ball, and then taken Terland. Sorry, Charlie, can't even see you here. For me, that's not a penalty purely because she's got the ball first. It's unfortunate for Terland, but she's taken her out as well. But as a goalkeeper, if that's the other way around and Fallon's coming out and completely wiping out the other attacker, I'm all for that, because as a goalkeeper, that's what you want. So for me, it's not a pen. I don't know whether
I agree with you.
Like I said, I might be unpopular for saying that, because I know a lot of people in the ground were shouting for. I know Tooney was very vocal at the time. She was, having a go. I'm surprised Tooney didn't get a yellow card, to be fair, because she was really going for the ref on that one. I understand it. For me, it's not. I don't know.
You're wrong. As a fan, if I'm there, I'm shouting for that all day long. But when I go over and watch it again, I go, nah, it's not a pen.
And I think the second one, I think, Bria, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the second one you're referring to is also on Terland, where she goes around the keeper just before half time, and there's a slight nudge and she falls over, I think. Oh, yeah, I might be wrong. I can't think of another penalty shout that we had, to be honest, other than that one. Yeah, it was quite. I'm more annoyed at the one on Jade, to be honest, when Jade's breaking out from the box and gets completely wiped out is the one I'm more annoyed about.
Football is dangerous. Like as a rule, people go and head the ball when people are trying to kick it, you know, but you can't say don't reply, Charlie. But you don't say don't kick it. Do you know what I mean? It's like it feels dangerous, of course it does, but like punching the ball as a goalkeeper is a prerequisite. It's something they need to be able to do. And if we take that away from it, then we're in a bit of trouble, really, aren't we? So, yeah, I think, it feels dangerous, but there's lots of dangerous things in football. So, you know, doesn't make it a penalty, just makes it dangerous. It's not ballet, folks, as Jim Ross would say.
Indeed. Oh, Charlie is back. I think she's swapping to a phone or something. Here we go.
No, sorry, the phone call came through, and on the rubbish iPhone, and there are with a phone.
Maybe she's got another call again.
I think they're ringing back. Yeah. Why did you answer the first time? It's clearly very important. It's the dogs. We want to go out the front.
Indeed. Oh, there we go. See, I think that's it. I think it depends where you are. There's been times I've been sat in the ground and thought that's a definite penalty, and I've watched it back and I thought, okay, maybe not. So I understand it, to be fair. Like I said, you know, I've just referenced it. There was lots bringing up, you know, Skinner said that all refs comp dangerous tackles on Jade. The one on Jade was, again, definitely a yellow, and obviously she did get a yellow for it, I believe. But it's just not necessary. You know, you can stop the counter attack quite easy. You don't need to take her out like she did. I thought that was a bit too much, to be honest. But there we go. Right, we'll await Charlie's return. Whether she's going to answer that phone call or not. Oh, she is back already. Here we go.
I've blocked it. I've blocked the number. I don't know who it was.
Without answering.
No, but I tried to ring it back just now. That's why I was a bit longer, to be like, what? But it just said, the person you are calling is not available. So hopefully it's not someone in a ditch who was in a serious accident and was trying to ring me. But every time they called, it took my camera away and then I couldn't get it back. So
you just
needs must.
Honestly, that is some serious.
Does that happen to everyone else? Does that happen to you? Are you guys on an iPhone? Does that happen to you when someone calls you on the show? But if I lose my laptop, it looks really weird. The lighting, I just look blue and yellow, like really yellow.
You would make a wonderful Smurf.
Yes.
To be fair, it does happen on these things. You've reminded me if you guys go back and watch the interview we did with Fallon, you'll notice there is a cut at some point because when I was interviewing her, her alarm went off mid thing and she was obviously on her phone when it was happening and it cut. It literally stopped her for like 10, 15 seconds. You don't see this in the edit because obviously I took it out, but you just see me panicking like, oh my life, I hope we've not lost on this interview mid question. But there is a cut. You'll be able to see it. And yeah, same thing. So yeah, it does happen. There we go. See, Sporty. I'm always the alternative view, and I'm basically the VAR in this case, if they need it. There we go. There we go. See, we're going to get into a whole other phone debate now, I think.
Oh, thank you. It's an iPhone 11 as well, so it's quite old and refurbished.
Yeah. Do it all there. I should have said the player of the match poll is in the chat, by the way, so you can get your votes in on that. Although looking at the percentages already, we've got a clear winner, I think. But don't let that influence your vote. Vote for whoever you want. But looking at Terland's numbers, she's on 74 at the moment, so I would imagine it's going to be a Terland win, which, to be fair, score 2 goals, get the win. I'd be surprised if anything else came from it. Right, I want to talk about our chances in terms of whether you both kind of spoke about it a little bit, whether we think we were a little bit wasteful again. And I want to kind of ask a question whether you think this is a bit of a theme of our season. Because I do think in this one we had chances to kill the game off. I think Terland, for me, that second potential penalty shot, I think she's got to be a bit stronger. The one off the post, you could argue maybe she should potentially put that away. And I think in the second half as well, there's a couple of chances we get her in and around the box. And it's just like, don't quite know what we're trying to do it. So, Charlie, 2-part question, really. One, do you think we did waste chances yesterday in terms of do you think we should have scored more on the day? And also, do you think that is a bit of a theme of our season, that we are not as clinical as maybe we should be?
Yeah, I think the stats speak for themselves as well. I think it's important to look at them. I think the difference with the last couple of games is we're putting a few away now. We're putting a few more chances away than we were before, so it's less of a glaring issue, I would argue. But I think we could have had a few more. I thought Bizet's header near the end It was pretty much a free header. That I don't know how that doesn't go on target. It's one of those ones where a pundit goes, "Oh, she just headed it too well. If she'd scuffed it, would have gone in." Obviously, there was the one off the post, wasn't there? I thought we were wasteful in the sense of with crosses into the box. I think until Sandberg came on, they were just all straight at the keeper. Like every single time, it was almost like it was a warm up for the keeper. It was crossing practice for her to come and receive the ball. So in that sense, we were wasteful. And I do think we were faffing around with the ball a bit too much. If there's one thing I would say about Grace Clinton, just one thing before, and I don't hope no one gets fired up about it, is just sometimes I think she could release the ball quicker and it would provide options then for other players to get shots away. Sometimes it feels like she just keeps hold of it a little bit too long. But she is the professional footballer, not me, as I caveat it with that. So yes, I completely agree. I think we've been wasteful this season a lot, actually. And Terland herself, I think, should easily be on double figures in the league by this point. I think, did someone say earlier in the chat, I don't know how accurate it is, I'm sure it is, how many big chances we've wasted this season, which are like not just shots, aren't they, that could have been blocked from miles out, but genuine big chances that we've missed. Are pretty many, I think. So that certainly needs looking at. And I think you could also argue that we snatch at things. We either snatch at things or we faff around too much. But yeah, but the important thing is, it is important, and we mustn't shy away from it, is at this point in the season, though, we're playing okay. We're not dreadful. We're playing okay. At times we're playing really good football at times. And at this point, when as fans, we're thinking the final 3 games of the season are City, Arsenal and Chelsea in no particular order, we just need to be winning games. That's the really important thing. And we are. So we play Leicester next, I think. We need to win that game. And if it ends up being a scuffed shot from a ping pong ball around the box and it means we win, I will take that. I'll still have a bit of a moan about the performance and say we should have scored this many goals, this, that and the other, but we just need to be winning. I would love for the men to be scoring 2 goals from 50 shots. I'd flipping love it if they could do that. But they're not. And the women are second in the league. We just need to, at this point, win football games. I know I've said that about 4 times now, about 30 seconds, but just keep winning. Just keep winning. Just keep winning, winning, winning. That's it. Yes, that's what I think.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think on the big chances missed, so I did just double check. We missed 4 in this particular game. But as Lotch said, I was literally just checking that while you were saying there. So we have actually missed less than City, Chelsea and Arsenal. You could argue that they create more, which I think if you look at the creation stats, they're probably ahead of us, which is why they would have missed more because they create more. But we have 25 in total is what I've got the number as this season. Now, obviously, how they calculate a big chance, I don't know what it is, if I'm being totally honest. So I'll have to double check that. But yeah, they probably do. That's what I mean. Positive. I think they create more, which is why they miss more, just because you're going to when that comes of it. But Barry, in terms of yesterday's game and so on, do you think, same kind of questions really, do you think we missed chances yesterday that maybe we should be putting away? And also, do you think that is a theme of our season? You know, when you look at the game yesterday, the 2 Terland chances, Bizet's header, you know, you can look at, she's a couple of yards out, that goes wide, that maybe we should have killed the game off yesterday.
I think the drama that we have, as I've been banging this drum on this channel since I came onto it, really, I can just remember being sat with you and John and producing some statistics on the screen that showed our shots on goal and shots on target and how we needed to hit the target more. And I still stick with that. You know, there's people having to go at Leah Goulton and say, oh, we must put Melvine Mallard in. But we do have to remember that Melvine Mallard against Wolves, I mean, it just wasn't happening, was it? Up there, it'd go over there, went over there. But it was, you know, she missed from 6 yards out. So this is the problem that we've had with our front line for a ridiculous amount of time. If Elisabeth Terland has missed 10 big chances, one of them, as you mentioned, was one that came off the post, which was, you know, unlucky because she'd done everything right there, to be fair, and it was a short amount of time that she had to put the ball in there as well. So I just think we've still not nailed down. If I was to say to you, who's our main striker. We've often spoken about Leslie Russo, and we'd always said about the potential that she had. It pains me to say we're seeing that at Arsenal now, because she is starting to hit numbers that we dreamt she would hit for us at United. She's on double figures now. I don't think she managed that once for us at United. Maybe she got 10. She might have just tipped over. But she wasn't really doing the business. She's doing it there. And we need Terland to be that person for us. And she might well be, because she's in a situation now where she's got a run of games. Leicester, for example, is a superb opportunity for her to go and notch some more. And that's what she needs to do. She can't just score against Spurs. You only play them twice. She scored now against Palace, which is nice. She's going to need to score a few more. So we need her to do that. But this is the point I'm making, lot. This is the whole point, is that we don't have that striker. She's not a Sam Kerr. She's not a Viv Miedemar. She's not a Bunny Shaw. We don't have someone who is ready to go. And so whilst we're in that situation, we can't be expecting to be scoring as many as we would like to and taking more of the big chances. So, you know, there's two parts to it, as you said. We've got to make the chances in the first place that the likes of the big clubs of City, Arsenal and Chelsea are making. We need to make more of them. And this comes down to what I was saying at the beginning. We need to be better creatively. We can't just trope that we're going to create chances through other teams' mistakes. And secondly, it comes down to the fact that until we have either moulded or she's broken through the glass ceiling, or we have that striker who is going to be our number one, who can get us 15 to 20 goals in a WSL season, we're probably going to see more of this. So, yeah, it's a tricky one.
To be fair, I think Terland is that already. Well, again, it's a tough one. I was having this discussion with somebody at half time that Terland's she's having a strange season to me, because she scores the harder chances, yet is missing the easier ones, which is a strange position to be in, because, like I said, the talent is there. People know how highly I rate her. I've been saying this on this channel for years, even before she went to Brighton, how good of a player she is. So, you know, I don't think people can question, you know, the ceiling that we think she's got. And I think that's why I want her to do better than she is, because I know that she can get to that level of 15 to 20 WSL goals in a season. And to be fair, what's she on now? She's on 7, isn't she, in total? So I think she'll get double digits, you know, in the WSL this season. You know, currently on the form that she's on anyway, I think she'll, you know, is well on track for that. Whether she can get to 15 this season, 8 in 8, possible, but it would be quite an achievement, I think, to get 8 more now from the position she's in. But yeah, I agree. She will be our top scorer this season. But I think what Barry's essentially saying is she that Bunny Shaw type? Like, is she going to hit? I mean, what's Bunny on now? 11, and she's missed a load of games. she's still on 11. You know, is she that player that's going to get, you know, 20 kind of goals in a season? I think she will get to that. I don't think she's quite there yet. And as JJ's just put it, or somebody's just said it. You know, it is her first season with us as well, so you know there is still a patience thing. To have with us. So I'm happy we've gone down this route, to be honest, that we've gone for a younger striker that I do believe will get to that. And we'll just wait and see. If we're having this conversation in 3 years' time and we're still not seeing 15 plus potential goals or whatever, then yeah, I think you can start having that discussion about it. But I think at the moment, we'll wait and see. I'm loving the back. Do you know what? Sometimes I just look at the chat and I just think, like, because people start having little debates amongst themselves. I'm quite enjoying this this bit of back and forth some of you are having in the chat right now. I might have to go back and reread.
And to be clear, I'm not having a go. I'm just saying people are asking for the reason. That's what I'm saying. We don't have that yet. So are we missing big chances? Yes, because we've still got an inexperienced front line. You know, you're going to be relying on people like Tooney. Galton perhaps does need to net a few more, but it's the same for so many across that front line at the moment. They're not none of them are really firing on full cylinders. And the fact Nikita Paris was our top goal scorer last year just about said everything that we needed there from the front line as well. We don't have that clinical just beast up front at the moment. We might eventually, just don't have it yet.
No, I tend to agree. As I said, it's not even a knock on her. So you're just answering the question that I asked, which is always helpful as a host. I will quickly address this. Shane saying Connor probably has no idea what Charlie's reference is, which is I do know what Charlie was on. If you're on about the Just Keep Swimming thing from the film, I have seen that film. So there we go. Another film ticked off here, which I know is a monumental moment. But yes, have seen Finding Nemo. I've not seen Finding Dory though. Is that still? Have they made a third one yet, or is there only two? It seems like the kind of thing they just keep making because Disney likes to do or whatever, don't they? Or whoever it is, just likes to keep making more of whatever. But yes, Shane, I have seen it. There we go.
Just checking to make sure there's no alcohol in this. Genuinely, it's only a caramel, but no, it's fine. Blimey.
Only two. Oh, I thought you meant that's how many films I'd see. Oh, right. Okay, yeah, I know what you mean now. Yeah, you're
It's not far wrong, though, is he?
Yeah. But it's not going to be as good as Finding Nemo, though, is it?
No, it's not. It's different. And different is okay.
Maybe I'll add that to the list of potential things I need to watch. Yeah, I mean, it's in the name, isn't it? It's going to be a similar kind of storyline. Here we go. It was positive time. Back to the positiveness. We're producing so many more chances. I remember 0 chance in the first half of the start. So, to be fair, we are now. Yes, you think back to those games against Villa and so on where we were drawing or whatever. We were creating literally nothing. So yeah, it's definitely better now. And yeah, hopefully, as Charlie said, just keep winning and we get to those final 3 games of the season. Who knows where we'll be on that one? So I probably won't. To be fair, it's not really a film I'd go back to be fair, but we'll see. Maybe one day. You never know. Right, let's move on to the second goal then, because I want to kind of talk about the second half and some other things on that one. And that's Terland again, a player that we were just speaking about. Charlie, go and run us through this one. And again, just kind of settled. I didn't even cover the Palace goal, actually. In fact, let's just very quickly talk about that. The Palace goal. What went wrong? Why? Because to be fair, live, I was just looking at it going, what just happened there? Like, how have they scored?
I was looking at it thinking, where's the right-hand side of the pitch? Which is part of the problem with playing a number 10 as a winger, I would suppose. There's maybe an argument that Fallon could have come out and made herself, like I was going to say bigger, but I think that's impossible. But I just think there was not a single challenge put on a Palace player really until the shot was taken, and then when the shot's been taken at the distance it's been taken at, there's not a lot Fallon can do about it. But the right hand side was non-existent, and they just had their one chance and they took it. Apart from that, with regards to our second goal, that was another weird one, wasn't it? But again, it was a Crystal Palace. I thought it was a really good assist from someone when I was there, because perspective is grim, isn't it? When you're in the terrace corner, isn't it, and you're trying to look at that opposition goal, you're like, what? I don't know what happened. I thought there'd been an assist from one of our players, but I think it was a Palace player that slotted it beautifully between our 2 centre backs. But again, Terland was alert and ready, and anticipated and picked up the ball, and it was a bit of a scuff shot, really. It reminded me of Ahmad's winner against City this season, where he sort of scuffed it and it ended up going behind the defender who couldn't distort their body. Again, but for me, the main thing about that was that she was alert to it and anticipated that something could happen, and she latched onto the ball quickly and she put it away, because that's what we want from our number 9, isn't it? To be alert, to take the chances when they come. And I was really hoping she'd get a hat-trick, really, really hoping she would. Although, if she scored a 3rd goal, they probably would have awarded it to Rachel Williams anyway. So whether she was on the pitch or not, so it wouldn't have mattered. But yeah, after that, I wasn't getting nervy, because once they scored, I still thought we're still going to win this, because they're not creating anything Palace. But once we scored that, it was comfortable from that point onwards, I think.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Like, there wasn't really anyone in terms of I don't know who it was. I'm going to have to look up who it was, but their number 11 was the only one I looked at and thought, okay, she's causing our defense a lot of problems here.
Yes.
Kind of lightning quick, was running at the back line constantly. She's the only one I looked at and thought, okay, we've got a bit of a problem here. Kind of on that side. And I think you are right on the goal. And this is why I said earlier, with Grace on the right wing, Jade's got to cover so much. So Jade pushed up a little bit. And then Maya is the one that's furthest forward because she follows the player with the ball. And then obviously it just goes over the top of him because Jay's playing a high line as well. Hinny's trying to crack back. And I think that's the problem when you disrupt that right side. You don't have an actual winger there. Jade's covering, like I said, 30, 40 yards more space than she naturally would with Bizet there. And I think, I mean, Barry, I'll ask you kind of the same question in terms of the 2 goals. So the equaliser for Palace and the Terland one as well. Just what went wrong from the Palace goal, but what went right for the Terland one?
Right, well, you can microanalyze things. Every goal that ever exists in the history of the world will have a mistake in it somewhere, or something that somebody could have done better somewhere along the line. So you could microanalyze it. Grace Clinton does come out, tries to get to the player who knocks it forward, doesn't manage it. Laetitia is tight on her player, but player moves away from her. She obviously doesn't go back into defence. Hinny chases her runner, does incredibly well. The ball is a very good ball, to be fair. You know, we play that sort of ball, you're going to sit there and go, delicious. And, you know, you might ask the question about Jade. She's just sort of, to be honest, she was a bit like me at a right back at that point, just sort of like, where should I be at this point? Because there's one there, I've got nobody to get, what do you want me to do? Sort of thing. And she's taken out of the game by that ball. So she had no chance whatsoever. And then when it came to the actual shot, it was well taken. You'd kind of hope that Fallon could get there. Maybe on this situation, her height didn't help her because she tried to get down. Maybe if you tried to use a leg or something like that, it might have had a better. Like I say, you can microanalyze it. I just look at it and go, it's actually quite a good goal, and it would need to be to beat one of the meanest defences in the league. So as far as that goes, I'm disappointed, but I think credit to Palace on that one. It was a well worked goal, and they used the space on the pitch brilliantly. We equally used the space brilliantly. Excellent header from Dominique Janssen to win the ball. That's how you win the ball back from a goal kick. It's put speculatively in the air. Boom, up she goes like a salmon. The drama we've got here is that it's the best through ball. I've actually said this to my mate today. It's the best through ball I've watched in the WSL this season. We didn't even play it. It wasn't even us. That lady could not do that again if she tried. If we did that exact move 100 times, the ball would end up in the corner flag. It'd be missed. She might fall over it, but she would not play that exact brilliant ball through to Elisabeth Terland again. It was just such a freak moment that was a perfect storm. The finish again, I'm quite pleased with it. Some people saying it wasn't as good as it could be. Listen, it went across the line, and that's really all that matters. She put enough on it and did the right thing. She's completely bamboozled the defenders who are running in one direction. They're not going to turn the other and get that without falling on their backside. But again, don't want to keep banging the same drum, but that's 2 goals that we've scored, and Palace have given us both of them at this point. So, it's horses for courses on that one. It's a good goal, great finish. But let's be clear, Liz Terland has managed to score 2 goals that have been gifted to her. I mean, I don't know what's on her Amazon wish list, but I'm presuming this.
I've just watched it back. I didn't realise how good that pass was from the pass.
It's so good.
I didn't realise
really
that.
So good.
Because it's she's running.
I thought
she's running on with her right foot forward, and it hits her left foot. Like it's.
If that's played by Clinton or by Toon or by Hinny, we're sitting there going, "Oh, that is filthy." Instead, we're just sitting there going, "Oh."
Yeah, that is quite. So I didn't notice that at the time. To be fair, what I will say, though, I think the composure of Turton, because I said she had missed a couple of chances before that. The composure to go round the keeper and just slot it in. I agree with Charlie. The way that it is similar to the Ahmad one. It's like a bit of a scuff, kind of, so it goes behind the Palace defender that's kind of retreating on the line. So, yeah, fair play to her. Because like I said, I think from her point of view, again, just getting those. That's a couple of braces she's had now. So, she's clearly got the goals in her. But yeah, I think there's just the composure on that one, just to, yes, it's gifted to her, but she's still got to go round the keeper and slot it in.
But the Palace, that poor Palace defender, like, if that's me, I'm devastated by that. I'm like, if you'd hit that properly, I was blocking that, and you've hit it like you've got someone else's legs on. Oh, you just see her face like trying to contort her body. Oh, I mean, I loved it because it was our player, but I think, oh gosh, can you imagine being a defender and not clearing that off the line?
But also, can we take a moment for the player running back that the goalkeeper just
Goalkeeper
absolutely
takes out?
Like, my goodness, that was like being a head-on collision. So getting up from that was miraculous.
Yeah, that would have been a penalty if that tackle was on Terland. That's a penalty. What the keeper did to their own defender, that would have been. But yeah, that did obviously get us back in front. And to be fair, kind of happy at that point because I think their goal came in at the 65th minute or something like that. And like I said, 1-1 for 20 minutes of the second half. I was a bit like, surely we're not going to draw this. But then I remembered earlier in the season, Villa at home, and I was like, so I was getting a bit of flashbacks there. But there we go. Right, quickly on the third goal then, because we may have scored more set pieces than I remember, but in terms of direct set pieces or free kick goals like this, I don't remember scoring that many this season. And I said to the guys around me, there's definitely been a noticeable drop off, I think, this season in set piece delivery than what we've had in previous years. But Charlie Toon to Clinton, kind of looping header, as it were, and that kind of. I guess, do you think that topped off a pretty solid performance by Clinton in the end?
Yeah, I mean, it's weird, isn't it? The set piece thing is weird this year that they aren't as good. I wonder why that is. It's also weird because we have got Dominique Janssen in the team, who I think one of her on her like FIFA card, if it said set pieces, like particularly free kicks, she'd be like a 99 rated. I think they were pretty dire. But yeah, it was a decent delivery. I think Grace Clinton was very brave, having just seen Queen Elizabeth have her head decapitated by the goalkeeper, who, yes, may have also got the ball, but she also decapitated her. But yeah, it was a strong header, wasn't it? Because she has to get it up and over. She has to jump quite high. It's Cristiano Ronaldo-esque, like Barry says, like a salmon. But yeah, just made it really comfortable. And yeah, it was a solid performance from her, I think, in sort of difficult circumstances of being out of position. And well, I don't know if she'd been out of position. I think she must have been told to keep cutting inside, like you think. But still out of position and having not played consistent minutes for a while, it was good for her to get on the score sheet. It was my second favourite thing she did all game, was score that goal. What was my favourite thing she did all game?
I'm assuming it's the handstand.
It is. Because she nearly injures. That's not why I enjoyed it. But it's like, I watch them sometimes and I go, girls, we're professional athletes. Stop faffing around. What if you hurt yourself? It's like that video of the American women's national team when they're doing that awful thing when they're pulling each other up by their ankle. Did you see that? I thought, oh my God, what are you doing? Like, I just need to be careful, but I did enjoy it. It's not quite as good as Nanny's backflip, but it had its own little place. But yeah, good, decent performance from her, I think. Again, makes things interesting, doesn't it, for the next game against Leicester, having scored and created a couple of chances. Yeah, good performance from her. Pleased.
No, I tend to agree. And I think on the set piece thing, I think I've said this a couple of times in the ground. It seems like we must have had about 11 or 12 different set piece takers this season throughout games. I think every fullback that's played for us has taken a set piece. Aoife, Jade, Mayer's taken one. I think, Jess Simpson took one when she came on in that cameo against Everton. Sandberg, Gabby Jort, like nearly all of our fullbacks have. Toon has taken them. Grace has taken one. Bizet's taken them. Like, we have a lot of set piece takers at the moment. We don't seem to have a nailed on one unless it's a free kick lesson and Tooney takes it. So Barry, in terms of the goal itself, and like I said, same kind of question around Clinton, really, in terms of just, I guess, her overall performance in it.
Well, first things first, if Queen Elizabeth had her head chopped off by the goalkeeper, that would have made her the first reigning monarch to have her head lopped off since Charles I, back in the Reformation in the 1600s. A little bit of news for you there. That would have been quite a record to break had that happened. So there we go. Just throw that one out there. We like to learn on this channel too. Beyond that, though, can Toon and Clinton play on the same pitch? Well, this shows they absolutely can. They work together brilliantly there. The free kick goal is almost as good as the one that I saw scored at Stevenage yesterday. It was incredible. And I'm not trying to be funny here. It was perfect. They match each other so well. And what I love about it is that in both goals, the goalkeeper's thinking, yep, I'm getting this. But in both goals, somebody's just nipped in front and just took it off them at the very last minute. And the goalkeeper, you can just see as she's flying through the air going, oh, no, nuts to this. And in comes Grace Clinton with a lovely little header. So absolutely delighted is the answer to that. I think we as a football team will be just infinitely better if we have a Grace Clinton who comes onto the pitch, works as hard as she did, regardless of general output and position. We will be a much better side if she is able to be all systems go and starts netting goals in the manner that she has as well. And this is where, when you go back to our previous good form, where we nearly won the league, we had people scoring all across the pitch. And this is where we would end up being in a good position. If you can have Terland netting 8 or 9, you've got Toon maybe knocking in 5, Clinton maybe knocking in 5, Galton maybe knocking in 5. And all of a sudden, those goals are well distributed amongst the sort of front 5, front 6. All of a sudden, those goals, although they're not from one, are there. And that's the sort of thing that we would need. So there's absolutely just infinite benefits for me to have Grace Clinton scoring. The only disappointment, I think, for her scoring now is that she's got to have 2 weeks off whilst we dance the merry dance of internationals before we get the chance to have her back in again. So it might just sort of stunt that momentum that she had. But hopefully not. Absolutely brilliant.
It's interesting you mentioned the different scorers as well, because a little fun fact for you that was in the programme this weekend. So we've had 16 different scorers this season. And the only other time we've done that, 16 different scorers, was 22-23, when we went obviously nearly went on and won the league in that one. Every other season's been between 12 and 15 different scorers. So
did it tell you how many each of them had scored?
No.
That's a shame. It would have been interesting to see.
I mean, I can work that out from my stat sheet if you want. I won't have that right now because I've not updated it in the last 2 weeks. But
outrageous behaviour. But I would imagine that, you know, there was individual goals, certainly for about 5, 6, 7, 8 of them, maybe a couple that had a brace. But the top 3 or 4, I'm sure you're looking at sort of 6, 7, 8 goals each.
That's in all comps, by the way, Highline. But yeah, in terms of that season, I'm trying to remember back to that season. Who would have been? Obviously, Russo and Toon were high. Galton had a good season, scoring season that one as well.
I think Zellum scored quite a few that season.
Yeah,
also.
We had a lot of set piece, didn't we? Penalties and
we had 4 or 5 players, I think, that scored a lot of goals.
Yeah, whereas this season you're looking at Terland, this in all comps, Terland, Williams, Clinton are all above 5 at least. Bizet's
I think 2.
4.
Yeah.
Toon will be on 4 or 5 now as well. So yeah, we've got a few that are getting there. But yeah, the point being, we have got goals kind of from all over, which is something we've not had for a couple of seasons, which is good to see as well. But yeah, no, I tend to agree on the goal. I say it's just nice to see a score from a free kick like we used to, you know, kind of whipped in and looping headers and things like that, because we've not had too many of them in kind of the times it was in, particularly this season. Right, I want to quickly come to player of the match in just a second, but I want to come to an individual, someone we've not really spoken about on most match reactions, to be fair, this season, kind of gone under the radar, Maya Letitia, because she's on the player of the match poll, and like I said, she's kind of gone under the radar a little bit since she took the captaincy. It's a player we've not really discussed, whereas I feel like in previous seasons we've spoken a fair bit about her. So, Charlie, I want to come to you on her, because the reason she's on the poll, like, so we put a tweet out obviously on Instagram as well and asked for people to put their player of the matches in. A few people did, obviously a lot said Terland, which obviously makes sense, but a lot of people did say Maya Letitia as well. And looking at her numbers, it looks like she had a solid game as well. And on the eye, to be fair, it looked like she had a solid game. So yeah, if you don't want to talk about her in this game, but also just in general, you know, her this season, do you think she has gone under the radar a little bit?
I think she's just done her job really well. I think the captaincy fits her well. I think she's taken that on brilliantly. I was chatting to one of my friends that I stand with at football, and he said I think she'd outmuscled a Palace player, just sort of muscled them off the ball, sent them flying off the pitch. And he just said she looks like the real deal. Like she sort of the last couple of seasons had been sort of growing into the role, hadn't she? When she first came in as she centre back or right back, and then in fact she's still very young. But I just think she's just been solid in every single game. I think she looks quicker because she's actually quite big, Maya. Like she's she's like broad, isn't she? I wouldn't expect her to be as quick as she was, and she's really strong as well. So she's not often caught out. I think she's just had a really solid season, which is why I think she's sort of gone under the radar a little bit. I think Jade stood out, hasn't she, because of her attacking output, and Jade's had a lot of injuries in previous seasons, so her coming in and being pretty injury free, touch wood, has meant that she's maybe been noticed a little more when we talk about defensively. And obviously the other side's been sort of a bit of a fisty fight between Gabby and Anna. So I think Maya's gone pretty under the radar just because of that. It's incredible really that she's still only 22. Have I got that right?
Yeah, 22, and she's played. I'm pretty sure that's right. She's played every single WSL game for us, which is crazy.
She's been pretty faultless, I think, and I would say that's what you want from your centre back. So as long as she's being faultless, she's doing her job, isn't she?
I think as well, Baron, same question to you, but also, in this game in particular, there was a block off the line at 1-1. I think it was at 1-1. It was either 1-1 or 2-1. It was kind of midway through the second half. That again, that goes in. I think it's a bit of a miscommunication between Millie and Fallon. Fallon then does come out for it and kind of half punches it, and then the shot. If Maya's not there, you're looking at a potentially different end to the game. So again, same kind of questions really. In terms of this game, do you think she has just kind of just been consistent and gone about her business kind of under the radar a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, she's blocked the ball off the line, but that's her job. That's my attempt there at Roy Keane. That's her job. Listen, Maya Letitia has stepped into a role that was always going to be tricky to step into, and she's done it brilliantly. The reason why I think people aren't talking about her is actually a positive one, because she set herself a standard over the last couple of years that have been so good that the only way she's really going to be mentioned now is if she has a bad game, because we just expect it now. And that can be both a blessing and a curse as a player. I think she is unquestionably the best defender that we've got, and possibly the best defender that England has right now. Certainly in terms of potential as well. She's still got more to go. Like you say, this is her at 22. In 5 years' time, with a bit more experience and a bit more about her, she's going to be unreal, and probably a future England captain as well, which would not surprise me at all. I think that the effort that she puts in is brilliant. She communicates well. She's obviously respected by the players. And can we just take a moment as well to think how difficult that is? Like at the age of 22, you're walking into a dressing room. You've got people like PTJ behind you, who we all know is an incredibly intelligent person as well. She will carry herself in a certain way. She's very confident. She doesn't really need telling what to do. You've got Millie Turner next to you. You've got people like Dominique Janssen in front of you. You go further than that, you've got people like Rachel Williams around you, Ella Toon, Leah Goulton, Millie Turner, the OGs, people that we've seen at the club for years and years. And yet she is able to lead these people. And I used to say about Katie Zellum, the most important thing about being a captain is if they've got to follow you. These players are clearly following Maya Letitia as well, and she goes to war with them. So, listen, she is a superb defender, a superb captain, and she absolutely is at the top of her game right now. So, super duper, absolutely brilliant. You can say she's having an amazing season.
I knew there was going to be a pun in there somewhere.
Are you taking the tits?
That's even worse. It's like the United admin has been doing that a lot recently. I saw the terrific one earlier, but it was like Terry and then Ifik. It was like whatever. so they're on it as well. But I agree, and I like what Lot's saying there. The interview after the Brighton game with Hinnie and Mayer's obviously alongside her for that interview. Again, I think it just shows her as a captain. The players are all clearly behind her and everything else. So. Yes, I knew it was something like that. She hasn't missed a WSL game for 5 seasons now. And I'm pretty sure she's played every single game for us since she's been at the club as well, which is one hell of a record in the two and a bit seasons she's been here. But there we go. So, yes, hopefully she does get to lift some silverware as captain. Obviously, she lifted it last season. But as captain would be quite something as well. notice Mayor having a word to the refs here on the way back to the dressing room. So I didn't see that, to be fair, but fair play to her if she did. On that one. Right, let's quickly come to player of the match then and look to round this one off. Apologies, we're going to cut this one slightly shorter because we're all incredibly busy tonight. But don't worry, there will be other shows over the international break that we can discuss a lot more of your questions as well. Charlie, who would you have gone for and why?
I did vote for Queen Elizabeth III. For me, it's off the back of a series of good performances. So imagine if you're in school and you do have one really good maths lesson, and I'll say, that's brilliant, keep that up for a few lessons, and you'll get a golden ticket. And you can go into the prize draw, you can take it home, show your mum. So my vote for her is based on consistently being, I'd argue, maybe apart from Miyazawa, our best player over the last few games. Two good goals that came about because she did what we needed to do as a number 9, which is anticipate the danger and be able to react quickly. I also think she works really hard off the ball, and she's having more success with that now that we're pressing as a team, which we should have been doing from the start. So I've gone for her. I think she was really, really good again against Palace.
Apologies, Barry, same question. Sorry, I was trying to look at them.
Barry, it's the same question.
Yeah, I was trying to end the poll as well. I was trying to look on to see what.
I thought it would be, but I had a brief moment and I just completely forgot who he's put in there. So I didn't want to butt him. The honest answer to your question.
Everyone got a vote. Nice.
Listen, the short answer is all hail Her Majesty. 2 goals here, 2 goals in her previous game as well. She's started to find the net a bit more regularly. And just for pure hard work. I mean, as well as that, you've got to keep trying. We're saying that she's missed 10 big chances. That will weigh on her as well. She's not going to be going home thinking, oh, that's brilliant. I'm so pleased we're making these chances that I fluff up. She's not going to be delighted. She could have had that trick. As we said, that one that hit the post, quite unfortunate, really, because she had to take it so quickly. So, listen, I'm not against the fact that she has had to play and do as well as she has done. I'm very, very proud of her, actually, for keeping on going and not letting it affect her, because as a striker, you can lose confidence. And if you lose confidence, that's the worst thing that can happen. She's just like, all right, next one. All right, next one. She's forgotten already about what's going on. So that's one of the best attributes I think you can have as a striker, and that has shown. I think just for pure positioning, always being available in the right sort of spots, we've got to give it to her. I think Hinnie was brilliant. She's been consistently brilliant. She's done well. Grace Clinton, it's a good performance, but it's not a perfect performance, and it's out of position. So if you're saying, would I give it to her based on effort and what she did? Probably. I think they're in with a shout for that as well. But it's not at the level that we've seen her be at the beginning of the season, because she wasn't able to have the impact that we would usually have seen her have. And the one goal she does get is right on the penalty spot, which is where you'd probably expect her to be if she was playing centrally, like we would have expected her to. So, yeah, I can't remember who the 4th one was, but whoever it was wasn't clearly good enough for me to put them in above Terland. I wasn't remember who it was. Who was it?
Who did you say?
Terland, Hinnie, and Grace.
Mayor was the other one, which we just spoke about. So,
well, I've already told you how great she is. And it's just, does that not just go to show exactly what I was saying? She's just her usual brilliant self, and so therefore has been completely forgotten.
See, so there we go. Yeah, I think it's hard to look past Terland, isn't it? I thought Haney was brilliant. You know, again, for her to play in central midfield and have 98% pass completion is crazy. You know, considering the amount of long balls we try and everything else, for her to have that, I think it's brilliant. But it's got to be Terland. You don't necessarily win the game without her scoring the chances that she did, and just her overall play, I think, is massively improved as well. So yeah, and she did win it in the chat as well. 73%, Hinnie 16%, Letitia 8%, Clinton 1%, which I imagine is 2% because that doesn't add up. Yeah, so we'll just round up to 2 because saying 1% sounds a bit harsh, doesn't it? But there we go. Right, we'll round it off there. As I said, I say slightly shorter. We've still been going for an hour, which is still quite long. There's very couple of quick fire questions. I don't know what you're referring to is T2. I don't know what that is. So
Terminator 2. The biggest important question there is: have you seen Terminator 1?
I couldn't even tell you what it's about. What?
Who doesn't watch 80s films? That's a silly
Oh, no
question.
idea. Hence
Do you
why
know
I had no idea.
Stars in Terminator?
No, I couldn't even tell you what it's about.
Then the name.
What is it?
It's up there with you saying what's Planet of the Apes about.
I've never seen that either.
No, but you get what it's about, surely.
Yeah. I can
Arnold
probably think.
Schwarzenegger. I'll be back. But Terminator 2 is a really good one. I think he's quite scary, the guy in Terminator 2. Do you, Barry?
Say that again, because I wasn't listening. I was reading.
Oh, the Terminator 2 guy, he's quite frightening.
Yeah. He is. Yeah.
When he gets shot
the
with
army
the bazooka.
one, obviously. The guy with the eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should watch them, Connor, if you ever at a loose end.
He's
They're
never
actually
going to do. None of the films we mentioned he's ever going to watch. He would rather sit there scrolling through TikTok or sitting on TikTok, just chatting more inane, whatever. Next.
But there we go. So that was the quick film one. Just very quick. There was a couple of questions about in terms of why Rendell's not in the squad at the moment. I know there's a lot of conversation about that. I honestly don't have an answer for you. I would assume it's just going off Mark's press conference comments that he doesn't think she's ready yet. Is why I assume she's in the under 23s though. So
do you know, I quite often have a go at the guy. I'll be clear, there will be a plan for her. Of course there's a plan for her. It's not a plan that we're necessarily going to agree with, but there'll be a plan. It's not like they've just brought her in and gone, oh God, what are we going to do with this one now? You know, there's a reason why she's been brought in. It's just not apparent to us yet.
yes.
Because as somebody said earlier on, we don't get told this information. Why would the club want to talk to its fans? I mean, it's so well supported at the moment with everybody so delighted about everything that's going on there. Why would you possibly want to keep the fans happy? I wonder, why would you want to do that, Man United? No, God knows.
But yeah, as I said, she's in the England under 23s, so I don't know. And to be fair, like I said, I don't think Saf is here next season anyway, so I would imagine Kayla takes number 2 then. It's really not something I think we need to worry about at the moment. And the last one, Puzz and Tom was asking about Jade. I would imagine she's fine if she's going to Canada, to be honest. And that's probably all I can really say on it. You know, she wouldn't be going if, you know, there was a major injury or anything like that. So I expect her to be fine. Hopefully, if there's anything bad, she just won't play. So, you know, we'll wait and see on that one. Right, well, we'll round it off there. I know there was a couple of other questions. There was a lot of questions about different players and all that kind of thing. We'll cover that because obviously it's international break, so which means the shows can be freer to do what we want to do now over the next kind of week and a half, whatever else. So if there is anything particular you want us to talk about over the international break, drop it in the comments of this video, not in the live chat because that disappears. Drop it in the actual comments of the video and we'll potentially talk about that one. Oh,
I feel like we
this
need
is gonna be
to,
ridiculous.
at some point during this week and a bit, some sort of film watch along with you.
What? No, that
It's got to happen. Something like The Little Mermaid, anything. I don't care.
Chris, can you imagine?
Can we have a film quiz? Oh God, he would get so battered.
Yeah. So, yeah. Maybe we'll do that at some point over the summer. The summer can be quite long, so maybe we'll see what happens there. Oh God, I've seen that. To be fair, I have actually I've seen that. So 2 films that you've named.
Rather than it being a film quiz, we could put up like titles of films that we know you've never seen, and you can tell us what you think they're about.
Oh, yeah.
Because things like The Terminator, we can go, what do you think The Terminator is about? And you're sitting there going, well, I don't know. But it would be interesting to hear what you've got to say.
Or just
like Escape to Victory. You ever heard of Escape to Victory?
Heard of it, yes. I'm sure we've had this discussion before. I've never seen it.
You know what it's about?
No.
Tell me. Look at that title, Escape to Victory. What do you think it could be about?
I'm sure we've discussed it. Isn't it a football film?
Maybe.
I'm sure it is because I remember us having a conversation about it, but I've got no idea. I imagine it's about.
How do you escape to victory, Connor? How do you escape to victory in a footballing sense?
I don't know.
It's a terrible idea. The man's got nothing. Nothing at all.
You're making me Google it now. I feel like this is something I should know.
World War II. They're escaping from a World War II POW camp to victory.
Oh, right. Okay.
If you wanted to see a film with Pele playing football alongside Sylvester Stallone as the goalkeeper, this is the film for you.
All right. Okay. See, there we go.
Green Mile.
Oh,
I reckon I've seen it, but it's not a memorable one for me. I'm sure I've seen it though.
And this is us three, isn't it? I'll let you fill in your own blank.
I was going to say, we'll let the viewers decide. I think.
put a poll out. No, don't. Oh God.
But there we go. Anyway, right, we will round it off there. As any serious ones, drop it in the comments of this video. Make sure you like this video and subscribe it if you're new around here, because I'm conscious we get new viewers every single time.
God knows how.
If you come back, fair play to you. Don't quite know why.
Yeah, that's a really good way to sell it to people. If you come back, well played. Don't know why.
But there we go. I will just quickly say at the end of this as well, I did meet a couple of you yesterday. At halftime and after the game as well. That was really nice. And you said obviously nice things about the channel. So if you were one of those, I didn't catch some of your names. So that's massively appreciated. You did say you'd be watching, a couple of you did say you'd be watching tonight. So I'm sure you're watching this on your TVs or whatever now. So massively appreciate all that. And all of you in the chat as well, the regulars that we always see every single week as well. So yeah, make sure you're liking the video, all of that kind of stuff. Follow all of the socials, Instagram, TikTok, X as well, all for United WFC. See you guys in the next one.